If you suddenly found a cyst in your lady part, what are you going to do? Are you going to probably scream out your lungs, run to Google to start asking Google questions, run to your doctor or to your gynae, or worst case scenario, get a big lamp and ask someone to inspect down there and tell you what exactly is it? Well, you don't need to worry further. In this video, I'm going to solve all the puzzles around finding a lump in your lady part. And also in this video, I'm going to tell you the types of lumps that it could be. I'm going to tell you the causes, symptoms that you should look out for, diagnosis, and ultimately, treatment. Trust me, the treatment for it. So let's dive right into it. Okay, before I continue in this video, just leave a comment down there. Have you ever had a scare of issues like this, and how did you actually handle it? You're welcome, beautiful ladies, and if today is your first time of coming across this channel, my name is Odunayo, and nice meeting you anyway. So what are these lumps that we are talking about? These lumps appears in different sizes, in different forms, and in different locations. It could be grape-like in size, or it could be pea-like, that is as big as a grape and as small as a pea. So it appears in different sizes, and also it could be in different form. It could be hard, it could be soft, and sometimes maybe in between, it could be in between, and in different location. It could be on your vulva or your labia, or probably on your vulva, or even inside the lady part. So I'll be telling you these different types of cysts, and today I'll be talking about almost 5 lumps that you can find there. So the first one I'll be talking about is actually the inclusion cyst. This inclusion cyst, in form, it appears to be hard, and filled with tissue. There are different causes for it. It could just appear on its own actually, but sometimes it is as a result of injury, probably tear during childbirth, and while the skin is trying to rejuvenate and heal up itself, some of the epithelial cells in the vulva can actually get trapped. You understand? And then it forms a cyst. It is usually small in size, but sometimes it could get bigger if it becomes infected, and that leads me to the symptoms of inclusion cyst. Oftentimes it is painless, and it is just there, small in size, and you might be wondering what is this. But if it becomes infected, it could get bigger, and then it could become very painful, and at that time you would need to get some form of treatment. So another cyst that I'll be talking about that is similar to inclusion cyst is also the epidermal cyst. This epidermal cyst is actually small in size also. It is small in size, and it is hard and filled with oil from the sebaceous gland. Now, epidermal cyst is actually caused when the oil from the sebaceous gland is actually trapped, and then it forms like a cyst. So it is usually filled with oil, unlike the inclusion cyst that is filled with epithelial tissue. And also the major cause for epidermal cyst is simply the blockage of the ducts, and the blockage of the ducts can be caused probably due to dirt or any other thing that could block oil gland. And this cyst is usually found actually outside your vulva. It is usually found around the vulva. It is not found inside the lady part, unlike the inclusion cyst that could be found either inside the lady part, on the labia, or at the opening of the vulva here. It could be found here, it could be found here, it could be found here. But for the epidermal cyst, it is only found on the vulva, because that is where you could get the sebaceous gland. Then the third one that I'll be talking about is the Bartholin cyst. Bartholin cyst, if you are not new to this channel, this is something we talk about often. In fact, the first video I made on this channel was about Bartholin cyst, the causes, and how to identify it, and you can find the video up here. But no, don't go there yet. Let's finish with this, because I really want you to gain a lot from this. Let's finish up with this, then you can go back to watch about Bartholin cyst if it is something that you're interested in. So what is Bartholin cyst? Bartholin cyst is usually a lump that is hard and it's usually filled with fluid. The causes of Bartholin cyst is actually blockage of the Bartholin gland. And where do you find the Bartholin glands? You find the Bartholin gland on the vulva at the opening area, either on the right or on the left. The glands are on the right and on the left. So any of these glands can be blocked, but rarely are both glands blocked at the same time. If it is blocked, then the liquid or the fluid that comes out from the Bartholin gland gets trapped. It becomes a cyst. It is usually small also, but if it gets infected, it could become big, abscessed, and extremely or excruciatingly painful. Most often than not, it is not painful. It does not have any symptom aside the fact that it could have the lump that becomes uncomfortable. And when it becomes infected, what are the things that could cause this infection? It could be sexually transmitted infection, such as gonorrhea, chlamydia, and the likes of it. And it could also be caused by non-sexually transmitted infections such as bacterial vaginosis. So the next one that I'm going to be talking about, which is the fourth cyst, is the Mullerian cyst. And this Mullerian cyst is actually caused by birth defect. What is the form? It is usually a soft lump that is filled with mucus. Most often it is small, and you would find it inside the lady parts, not on the vulva. It is usually inside the lady parts. It is caused by cyst that forms from the structure that is left during the baby's developmental stage while in the womb. And this cyst, starts to form gradually. It could appear when the woman is close to her 30s or she's close to her 40s, and it could appear small but gets bigger with age. As the lady or the girl is growing, the cyst is also growing. That is why it becomes more evident when the girl is the lady is now around her 40 or her 30s or her 40s, and it's usually, of course, it has no symptom, it doesn't get infected, and it is really big. It is usually very small. Similar to this is the Gardner duct cyst, and this also is caused by birth defects, and it's usually a hard mass. The causes also, it's due to fetal developmental issues. When the duct developing when the baby was an embryo did not disappear totally by the time the baby was born. It is usually small in size. Most often than not, it is less than 2 centimeters, but sometimes it could also appear as a big mass it could even be covering, this opening in the vulva. It develops inside the lady part also, not outside. It develops inside, but if it becomes bigger, it comes out, and sometimes as if it's coming out of the lady part, and it is usually hard and filled, and is as a result of ducts that did not disappear while the baby was developing. So what are the diagnoses? From all I have said, you should have known that the diagnosis is usually through physical examination. It can be diagnosed through physical examination. Probably your physician during pelvic examination just discovered that there is a lump there, and sometimes during pelvic scan, probably you are doing a transvaginal scan, or you are doing what we call ultrasounds. Also, you could develop it, you could diagnose it. What are the tests that are usually asked to do after a physical examination? It was discovered, you are usually asked to do, like I mentioned earlier, MRI scan, the ultrasound, TVS, and things like that. And another important test is biopsy, just to rule out malignancy, that is to rule out the fact that it is not cancer, although rarely is it that you have this lumps turning into cancer, but just to be on the safer side, you have to do that test. Another test that you will be asked to do is STI, because if you remember from the ones I mentioned earlier, I said that it is possible for you to have sexually transmitted infection that can complicate most of these lumps. So they are going to ask you to go for a test to rule out STI. So we now move on to treatment. Most often the treatment that will be recommended is what we call watchful waiting, in the sense that because some of these lumps that I mentioned, they are usually not painful, and they are not a cause for alarm. They are not really doing anything maybe working against the woman's body. So you will be asked to do what we call watchful waiting, in which you'll be asked to at least wait and watch and see what the outcome of the lump is going to be. Is it going to become painful? Is it going to become bigger? So based on that, you'll be recommended for treatment. And another thing that you'll be given is antibiotics in case where there is an infection that has been tested for and it has been confirmed. And also you would have to take a surgery if it gets bigger and then it's interfering with your day-to-day life, or probably it gets infected, or if it is just disturbing you, painful and all, then surgery might be a good option. Another thing also that you can look into is what we refer to as home remedies. That is, there are ways in which you can also handle this cyst, especially Bartholin cyst. There is a video up here where I discussed about how to treat Bartholin cyst at home. You can take care of this cyst actually at home. So the conclusion of the whole matter is this, that vaginal cyst actually is not a cause for alarm. I hope you agree now. It's not a cause for alarm, but you really have to go for diagnosis to rule out serious issues like cancer. Like I said earlier, just to be on the safer side, you have to rule that out, and then you have to get the proper and appropriate treatment. And that brings me to the end of today's video. I really hope you are well and you are safe. And if today actually is your first time, or you are yet to be a part of this community, please click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and also share this video with girls, women around you. I believe it will be very helpful to them. And please leave a comment in the comment section. Leave a comment of what you have learned. So I'll see you some other times, and thank you for watching today's video, and stay safe and be good. Bye bye.